Hello there.
Kenobi.
Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars in the Galaxy Epic Confrontations, the show where trivial rivalries and wrong show. Never mind. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars in the Galaxy, watching all the Star Wars we can get our hands on. This is episode 139. This is episode 3 of season 18 of Star Wars in the Galaxy, covering Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And today, unfortunately, Jacob could not join us for this recording, but never fear, because I do have, as alluded to jokingly at the beginning, my partner in crime on Epic Confrontations, Jedi Survivor fan himself, Cal Kestis aficionado, Mr. Conor Cicchitti of the Nerd Academy podcast and For the Republic. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm not doing too bad. Not doing too bad at this current moment.
I know that this is a game that you very much love, and we've watched, of course, that 1 hour, 30-minute mark to the 2 hour, 15-minute mark of our cutscene montage that was put together by Gamers Little Playground. Thank you so much again to them another time for the great montage that we're using to get like the best summary of the game that we can. That's still 6 hours long. Anyway, so yeah, in this segment of Jedi Survivor, Cal ventures out by the guidance of Z to find the forest array and free the key to Tantalor, the spotted key to the mystical world of Tantalor. Along the way, he fights a forest Wampa, also called a Mogu, and tames a relter, with a flashback to a time between the events of Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, where Seer once taught him an important lesson about when and how to fight. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, he gets into the forest array and enters a flashback where we see that that Master Santari Kree was not the only one who wanted to find the forest array. Indeed, there was also our good friend Dagan Screeches in Gera, who was obsessed with obtaining the mystical planet for only those reasons. Totally not because he was in love with this woman and it represented the love, the thing they shared together and all that kind of stuff. Totally not. We'll get to that later. So Cal sees the slow development of Tantalor as a possible option to build a Jedi temple on, to train a new batch of younglings. But unfortunately, as Dagan and Santari finalize their plans to officially colonize the Nile attack, shortly after the events of the Great Disaster, and the Jedi Council quickly scraps any expansion plans on Tantalor. This enrages Dagan, and for some unknown reason, he's put in a back-to-tank to recover from some injuries, maybe during the Nile attack, maybe for some other reasons. We know the other reasons, it's just not explained yet. Cal then frees Dagan from the
back to tank.
Cal then frees Dagan from the back tank. Cal then frees Dagan from the back tank. At which point Dagan promptly turns to the dark side, bleeds his lightsaber crystal to become a bright red, and duels Cal briefly before escaping with his old ally Ravis, who he once defeated in battle and is allied with to find Tantalor ever since, as the head of the Bedlam Raiders. Feeling lost and unable to figure out where to go next, Cal decides to seek out Seer, who is currently with the Hidden Path we don't know that yet. Seer, who's currently working with a bunch of Force-sensitive worshippers called the Anchorites on the planet of Jeddah. Cal and Grease set off for Jeddah, where Cal faces many of the native fauna of Jeddah, who are frankly quite rough, until he is eventually confronted in a corridor by some Imperials and is rescued by his old friend, and maybe something a little bit more, Night Sister Merrin, who at this moment was working with Seer and the Anchorites on their various missions and all that kind of stuff. And Cal and Merrin reunite as they bash through stormtroopers, and Merrin explains what she's been up to through all the years. And that's pretty much what this segment is. So let's get to the beginning of this, to the forest array. First of all, this is very much like, this is something that is that the Fallen Order and Survivor very much have in common, but I think that Survivor goes about a little bit different way, which is that both of them have this extremely complicated MacGuffin. Like you have to make so many trips to Zepho and Kashyyyk and Dathomir and
I
all of
mean, you
those
only got to
planets.
make 2 each. Pagano, I think it's 3. With the rest of them, it's
Yeah,
2.
but either way, you have to make all these different trips in Fallen Order to finally find the secret of the Zepho and that holocron. With this, you got to go to so many different places on Kobo and Jeddah and the Shattered Moon to get the secret of Tanalorr. I don't know what it is with this game that I like so much. I think it's just because the quest for Tanalorr. This is what I was going to say about that. Yeah, Tanalorr to me, one of the first connections I made to it, Tanalorr to me sounds a lot like Camelot. And if you think about if you think about it as an allegory for Camelot, it starts to make a lot more sense because Camelot is that golden age, the Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur, under Sir Lancelot. Those ages in early England are often idealized. And what is Tanalorr but the idealized planet? Even if you want to go back further to a even older reference in history, Tanalorr is an Edenic place, as we see. It is like a natural place where a lot of things grow and a lot of things live. Like that's Garden of Eden stuff.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just interesting. Like, Tanalorr is very mythical to me, and I really like.
And it shows in the story too, because you really see how the perspective of Tanalorr changes with the characters throughout the story. Because at first it's this treasure planet. To Grease at least, it's this treasure planet. For Cal, it's this possible planet that they can use to build an army or to seek refuge for himself and his crew. And he's thinking about his immediate family. For Bode, as we learn later on, it's for his immediate family. And then for Cal later on, it's about, it's not just us. We can use this for
strategic purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this is the part of the game where we really get introduced to Tanalorr as the possibilities. We get to see Tanalorr. I think this is the part of the game the most where we get to see Tanalorr from Dagan's point of view. Where, after Cal frees him from that jumping ahead a little bit, he says he has the flashback, and Dagan, for some strange reason, is able to enter that flashback, which I think is really cool, by the way. But you can see Cal being basically, you can see Cal after he frees him when Dagan goes, they forsook Tanalorr from me. And Cal is offended. Cal's like, why would they do that? But I think it's one of those things where as we go on in the game, you start to realize maybe the council weren't the crazy ones.
Yep.
Maybe Dagan was the crazy one. And
shocker.
Yeah, maybe the guy who every third word out of his mouth is Tanalorr was a bit crazy about this planet. And it's really interesting, and the thematic symbolism of Tanalorr. That's, I think, the two things in this game is the two things in this game are the concept of the Jedi, of what a Jedi is, and the concept of three things. Actually, I'll go three things: the concept of what a Jedi is, the concept of what a survivor is, and the concept of Tanalorr and the prospect of Tanalorr. Those three things very directly shape all of the main characters of this game. We see how Cal differentiates from Seer, differentiates from Bode, differentiates from Dagan in all four of those areas. And how vastly different all four of them are, and how that drives them to make the decisions they do. Cal and Seer more for the light side, and Bode and Dagan more for the dark side, although there's some crossover. Not going to say Cal doesn't do some dark side things in this game. Not going to say Bode doesn't do some light side things in this game. But
I'm not going to say it. I'm not gonna say it. Not gonna
All
say
right.
it. Not gonna say it.
But yeah, it's really interesting to me about like how the prospect of Channel World. They don't get to this planet until the fucking end of the game, and yet the prospect of it drives everything. We see Bode. Bode is driven to, not to go completely at it, Bode's driven to madness by this thing. It's a fucking planet, my dude.
Yeah.
And he gets there first. And Cal's argument is basically, hey, can we share? And Bode's like, no. And that kills him.
Yep.
That is how powerful the ideas behind this planet are. They literally drove somebody to knowingly rush into a situation where they could and eventually did die.
Yep. Yeah, it's Bode's whole shtick is it makes sense, but it is misguided.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's fantastic. But we'll get to that, of course, as we get further on into the game. Let's see.
But yeah, that journey that Cal makes to the forest array across Kobo's landscape is really
fantastic.
Cool.
It's just so mystical. All the journeys, I was talking about this on our last episode with Jacob and Savi and Linz, where like all the cross-planet journeys Cal takes on this planet are so cool. The one where he initially lands on Kobo, like that one, this one to the forest array at the beginning, the last one he makes on the final short trip to find that other alternate way to Tanalorr, to the forest array, where he like just before they jump to it one final time. Like all of those are just epic in scale, and they're just really cool to watch. I love that stuff. Yeah, and I also just think, and more than I do, because of course you're way more High Republic literate than I am, but those designs for the Forest Array look so High Republic to me.
They are very High Republic. We don't know like when, obviously. The thing I really like about Survivor in its inclusion of the High Republic is you can tell pretty much like all this stuff that is set on Kobo is High Republic tech, but we just don't know exactly when. And I'm sure that they intentionally kept it vague.
Yeah, we know I'm pretty sure we know it's 232 BBY.
Well, yeah, but it's
but a lot of things happened that year.
Yeah,
232 BBY is the 232 BBY is the 19 BBY of the High Republic. Just an untold amount of things happens. No, untold amount of things happen in that 1 year, or like the 0 ABY or something like that.
Yep, it's just I just love the tech. I just love sort of the visual language of the High Republic showing up the way it does.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to see.
So
it's very cool to see. Then we get to an element of this game that I just find really funny. There's no other way to say it. I just find it really funny. And by the way, this is definitely what I'm titling this episode. Connor, let me introduce you to Elemental Wampas.
Mogus.
I want them to just extrapolate this forever. I want Sky Wampa and Fire Wampa and Underground Wampa and Jungle Wampa. I want all of the Wampas.
Yeah.
Ever since they said we can make more than one type of Wampa, I just really like that idea. I think it's so goofy and so Star Wars. I think it would be hilarious. Fire Wampa.
No,
those things
it really
suck in
is.
This game.
So yeah, no, it really is, and that's the other thing I really like about this game in terms of its like level design and character design is like just the amount of new enemies that we get in terms of the flora and fauna, in terms of the Bedlam Raiders who like
the Bedlam Raiders are fantastic.
They're so
enemies,
fucking
of course,
cool.
In terms of the battle droids.
The fact that they have a code of honor.
The battle droids, of course, the Empire's still there, and we get new Imperial enemies. I think more options in terms of Purge Troopers or something in that regard with the Empire, especially later on Nova Garen. But yeah, yeah, I love Elemental Wampas. Is the moral of the story? I really do. And then we get to maybe one of the more, at least in my opinion, forgettable gameplay feature unlocks of the game, but it's one of those things that I only forget about it because it immediately becomes so integrated into gameplay, like into the gameplay and story, that like you almost forget it's a new gameplay feature, which is taming the relter.
Yeah, like I get, and gameplay wise, it's forgettable. If I'm gonna be completely honest, there's a lot of new stuff in this game that's like
there are some fantastic
overwhelming that I just
forget.
The first
one in the fucking game is the Ascension cable, which is so fun. Like if they only put the Ascension cable and nothing else in this game, I would say this game is like so much better gameplay wise than Fallen Order is.
This game is better gameplay wise than Fallen Order.
Of course it is. Yeah. But of course we have the Ascension cable, the new saber types, the spraying of Kobo matter, the electrical pulse, what have you. The relter gets lost in there. But I do think the lesson behind this, which I think is they did a very interesting mechanism of introducing all of these, because we had the Force abilities last game, of course, we flash back to Cal as a Padawan.
Yep. Which I thought were integrated perfectly.
Yeah, which is great. In this one, we obviously can't do that anymore. So what do? We have to flash back to Cal and Seer and all their missions after Fallen Order, but before Survivor, which I think was a smart way of doing it.
Yep.
And if Jedi 3 introduces yet more force powers, which I bet it will, that would also necessitate that probably also necessitate that it take place quite a few years away from this game, as to give Cal enough time to learn more force powers.
It makes sense, yeah.
There's that great exchange between Cal and Seer, which sounds... It's so great to hear these characters and their voices again. I forgot how great, like, the main Mantis crew is. I don't know, Seer. I just thought, no, you didn't think. You perceived a threat and reacted. And the idea of, we talked about this on previous episodes with Jacob and I, and with Savi and Linz. Cal is so conditioned to fight. That's all he's conditioned to do. But A Jedi really isn't about fighting.
Yep.
And B, even if it was...
yeah,
go ahead, sorry.
Cal says himself, having a lightsaber isn't what makes you a Jedi. And even Grease almost brings that up, almost verbatim, where it's like, you should maybe think about becoming more than a weapon or something.
Yeah, that was the last episode we recorded. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But even if that wasn't true, I think this is one of the arguments that the game makes, which is that even if that wasn't true, which it is, fighting as a long-term strategy for anybody, Jedi, non-Jedi, anybody, is not a sustainable long-term strategy.
Yep.
You need to start playing the long game. You need to start getting strategic, not just pointing and then blasting or cutting. It's one of the reasons, actually, I think that is one of the things I think is one of the follies of Saw Gerrera, actually.
Yep.
Is that he doesn't think long term. He says, I want to blow stuff up, and he does that really well and just stops there.
He does help, though, but...
Yeah, he does help. I'm not saying he doesn't do anything good. I'm saying that he does not have a long-term strategy, which, honestly, it makes sense that where does Cal start in this game? With Saw Gerrera.
Yep.
Which I think was very smart to get through. Like, the whole Cal thing, like, you can't fight your way out of every situation, reminds me of that phrase. When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And when all you have is a lightsaber, your thoughts will immediately direct you to solving problems with the lightsaber.
Yep.
And it's not to say that the lightsaber isn't important. It is. You can solve a lot of problems. We know that one of the first things that George taught Dave with Star Wars and how the Jedi act. You know what I'm going to say? It's what we saw in the title match, which this is coming out way later, but we recorded earlier this week. And Alden had us do, and Alden did himself. you put the lightsaber down on the table. You say, let's talk.
Yep.
I don't want to use this, but if I have to, I will not hesitate.
Yep. And Cal's not there yet.
No, Cal.
He was a child raised of war.
You're only a child when they sent you off to war, says Seer in one of the next segments. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's fantastic.
You see it firsthand in both games.
Yeah.
Granted, gameplay-wise, yes, that does need to happen. But, like, story-wise, it also makes sense.
Yeah. But I think they do a good job balancing it.
Oh, yeah.
So, then, you want to get to Dagan? You want to get to Mr. Gera?
Yeah, we'll get to Mr. Dagan Gera after Cal journeys over to the forest array, fights a bunch of
shout out by the way. Yeah, shout out by the way, the good friend of ours, good friend of the show, Alden Diaz, Alden was infamously a little late to the party with Survivor, but he played it, and one of the things he immediately caught on to, and he made this pun that I will never stop thinking about, where he called this villain Dagan Gera business.
Nice.
Which is really funny. And half the time I want to call him Dagan Gera business. The other half the time I want to call him Dagan Screeches and Tanalor Gera. I remember when the first Jedi Survivor trailer came out, and we all saw Cal looking at that back to tank, and the theories were running wild. Who is this guy? What's his deal? I was like, no, this is a new character. I'm sure this is a new character.
Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was on that train too.
Yeah, they didn't give us any indication that it would be anybody else, and it was. Here's my hot take about Dagan. I know that there are a lot of people that don't like Dagan's character. And I do agree with them. But there are some reasons that I agree. There are specific reasons I've taken a lot of time, because Jedi Survivor is a story that I really love, and Dagan is the one part of the story that really doesn't fit for me. And I think one of the problems is, I think they had an interesting opportunity to do this. You set up Ravis as what I called last episode the smokescreen villain, which is the villain that you pay attention to while Bode's waiting in the corner. You make Ravis that instead of Dagan. And then you do what I was hoping they might do with Dagan, which is this. I remember people were like, oh yeah, Dagan's going to be the villain of this game. I'm like, look, just because he's against Cal does not mean he has to be the villain. I think Dagan, as a chaos agent rather than a villain, would be a more interesting element. He's not necessarily working for Cal or believes in everything Cal believes in. Maybe he does later on, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
But he's not working directly with Ravis or the Empire or any bad faction. He's trying to figure himself out in this new era. That's actually one of the problems I have with Dagan overall, is that they seem to forget that he has to exist in the age of the Empire.
Yeah.
And he's so obsessed with Tanalor that he just forgets half the time about the new era he's living in. And while that's a good commentary, it feels a little unrealistic.
At the same time, I actually really like the fact that he's so stuck in the past that he can still see that this empire's here, but he really doesn't recognize their threat. But he really downplays it, because there are a few lines where he says, basically, this is the Empire that took down the Order. What the hell?
Yeah, that's the thing that annoys me about this game, is that he says that literally right before the final fight. It felt a little bit like the writers forgot that Dagan is also in the area of the Empire. I'm like, oh, and they were like, oh shit, oh yeah, we need to put something in there.
Yeah, I really like that. So that mindset from him.
I understand that. I understand. And I think it's interesting commentary. I just wish that they had integrated, like, they have him say, basically, after he gets out of the tank, they go, literally, it's, all right, I'm back. Okay, Tanalorr, let's go. Not even a second to think about the fact that the entire Jedi Order was destroyed. And he's hundreds of years in the future. Santari's dead. All the people he knew are dead. Nothing about that. No, it's just Tanalorr.
Obsessiveness over something will drive you mad. As we
see
with Dagan, as we see with Cal to a certain extent, as we see with Bode.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what you say. It's there could have been more.
There could have been a bit more there.
So
I will say there's no way I can get through this whole thing without laying down this theory I have that makes the game, that makes Dagan's storyline actually quite a bit better for me, and the game's story overall a good 5% better for me, if this headcanon is true, which I really hope it is, just because this clears up a lot of things emotionally for me.
Yeah.
So we can all agree that Dagan and Santari were fucking, right?
Probably. That's the vibe I kind of, not fucking, but that's the vibe I got, where it's like Dagan kind of had.
Yeah, if they were in love, that makes this whole plot line make a lot more sense. Because then it's not just about Tanalorr. It's about this thing that he got to dream about with the woman he loved.
Yep.
And so it, like,
well, look at him bastardizing her legacy. Hell yeah.
Exactly. And also there's a bunch of other things that make sense. Like why would we get that Force echo right after Dagan escapes with Ravis, where Santari believes that there's still some good in him, and she's just utterly wrong.
Yeah.
And if they're friends, that kind of works. But if they were in love, that works even better, because Santari is willing to overlook flaws of his because of that's how love works. Yeah. I also think it's a really good parallel if Dagan and Santari were in love, because they didn't have a healthy relationships, and that healthy relationship and healthy goals, which led to their own goals faltering. But and so we can contrast that in this game with a healthier relationship that, although it has its rocky moments, the one is able to pick the other up when they falter.
Yep.
I'm of course talking about Cal and Merrin. So I think the parallels between those two, if Dagan and Santari are in love, get a lot more clear. And a lot more. And also just the way they're standing each other. She straight up puts her hand on his chest. I'm like, come on. You don't do that if there's no feelings there. I'm sorry, you just don't. But yeah, no, there's a lot of great stuff in this flashback. I love the flashbacks, the psychometry flashbacks, especially because Cal can use the Force a bit more now.
Yeah.
Which is, what was I gonna say? Which are these celestial figures being constructed. Yeah, I think that effect is really cool.
Yeah.
There are just a lot of lines that I love. For example, I love this one, which I'm not sure is a reference, but come on, it's got to be a reference. I've seen the galaxy, Santari, and there are many worlds that the light of the Jedi does not reach. Hey, look, Dagan's a High Republic fan.
Yeah, enough said.
Enough said. Yeah.
You know, I like that those flashbacks really showcase like the beginning of Dagan and Santari's relationship, at least, because Dagan's very like hopeful in a sense at first, and Santari's just kind of chill, but still chill and measured. And then the more and more we see, it's like the council comes and Dagan's pissed at the council because it's like, why are they taking so long? And I'm like, based, but it's the fact, and as we see the Nile come in, they attack Tanalorr. The council abandons the project and forsakes it, which pisses off Dagan to no end. Which, like, again, this is a passion project of his in a sense, because he wants to make this another Jedi Temple world, and the council's like, nah, we need to divert our resources for better things. And he's just like, what the fuck? So I can't blame him there, But it's, yeah, again, the fact that it's, oh yeah, you were told the Jedi is just gone. And you're just like,
whatever.
Nah,
Yeah.
I still hate him. Can't
It's
blame
it's
you.
a yeah. No, I
But
will say though, like this guy I respect the delusion he has. I really
yeah,
expect the level of delusion he has. I don't know how this guy managed to achieve the rank of Jedi Knight because he has a seeming inability to be told no to
yeah,
anything.
probably. Yep.
He turns to the dark side over a fucking planet that he's accessed a few times. Like, this is not a stable person.
He's
And
not.
it's crazy that this man achieved the rank of Jedi Knight. Although, what do I know about the High Republic? Maybe they had different standards back then.
Yep.
I want to ask you this. As a big fan of the Jedi games and of THR.
Yep. That would be correct.
How did you feel about seeing a Nihil invasion, however briefly, in Survivor?
I was more hyped at the fact. I was actually more hyped at the fact seeing the words in text in the data bank, the nihil.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty fucking cool.
It's crazy that they were able to put all those
And the fact that Cal says the words
game.
High Republic, what?
It's beautiful. It's just frankly beautiful that they get that level of detail into this game. What was I gonna say? All right. Yeah. Let's see. We have that. We obviously have Dagan somehow intercepting Cal's psychometry, which it's one of those things where I think that's one of those things with the Force where it's I don't know how that happened, and honestly, I don't care.
Yep.
It's cool as hell.
It's cool as shit, man.
Yeah, and that's like totally fine for me. It's a really great it's really great. I will say again, besides my gripes with Dagan's characterization, God, it's cool to see a lightsaber crystal bled for the first time in Star Wars media.
Yep.
Visual media. God.
Agreed. Comics, but I know what you mean. Like seeing it like in real time.
In real time, yeah, seeing that shit in real time is like incredible.
It's bizarre.
Although I do wish, because of obviously when Vader does it in the comics, they have him go through this whole spirit journey. And I'm sure that Dagan does do the whole spirit journey and we just don't see it.
Yeah.
I do wish there was some indication that there was some more indication that they did that, or that we even got to see a little bit.
Yeah.
Of what he underwent to bleed the crystal, because
or maybe it's like it's different for every user.
You know? Yeah, no, I'm sure it is, but
yeah, we see that happen. Crystal explodes. Cal gets thrown back.
Yeah, and then and fight ensues. One of the things I think is so weird about this fight is that Cal doesn't even really know why he's fighting. He just is.
He's just, oh shit, I was trying to recruit this guy. It's funny because he tries to recruit Dagan to his side, and then later on in the story, after he fights and defeats Ravis, he does the same thing.
Ravis, yeah.
Yeah.
Cal really, we say this about him, he's really just the Nick Fury of Jedi.
Yep. He's like, hey, just come with me, man. I defeated you. Let's do it.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Yep.
I'm here to talk to you about the Initiative. It's funny. The line that gets me from this one is, that wretched order will rue the day they betrayed me and forsook Tanalorr. I'm like, dude, Will? They're all gone. I don't know what you're talking about, Will. You literally just heard they vanished. They're all dead.
Again, man. Obsessiveness blinds you to some shit. I should know.
Heyo.
Yep. That is an eye joke, everyone. I'm not obsessed with something to the point where I was no. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but yeah, it blinded him, and he's still on this warpath, man. And on one hand, I gotta respect it. I gotta respect it. I gotta respect the grind.
Absolutely, yeah.
But on the other hand, it's all right, Dagan. You should go back in the back to tank.
Yeah, it's yeah. He has some problems. He definitely has some major problems.
His fighting's not an issue though. He's pretty
No,
fucking good
his fighting
swordsman.
is honestly better somehow. Actually, he's an incredibly competent fighter, especially of course with one arm. Although he does grow it back later.
Yep.
Not really, but he at least makes it look like he does. But yeah, it's interesting to me be talking about Tanalorr as like the device in this game, because in that Force Echo basically that Cal gets right after Dagan leaves.
Exactly. I know which one you're talking about. I just can't really recall it off the top of my head.
She says Tanalorr was supposed to bring us closer, but all it did was divide our order. And then I have to ask, did it divide the order? Or did it just drive one man to absolute insanity?
Yep.
Like it didn't divide the order in two. It divided the order into the Jedi Order and Dagan, which makes me like think about like obviously Santari is nowhere near anything as horrible as Dagan did.
Yep.
But I don't think she's without flaws either.
Yeah.
In this specific situation, I think that she believed a little too much in Tanalorr and allowed Dagan to get away with a little too much. Like how she convinced the council not to kill him after he murdered Jedi in pursuit of Tanalorr.
Yeah, that's pretty you mention it. Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
It's crazy. Again, if they were I'm gonna say if they were in love, that will make a lot more sense for her personal motivations and also his personal motivations, honestly. But it's like fucking crazy. Yeah. On the way back, Cal of course tames the Neko as well, that horse creature.
I love the Neko.
It's fantastic. As we discussed in the last episode, Cal's come a long way from Animal Murderer Crestus.
He's come a long way from what?
Animal Murder Kestis.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He still murders a lot of animals in this game, but not as many as in Fallen Order, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything from the Dagan fight or the Forest Array stuff before we get on to our second part of this?
Oh, there was something about the I think something I like that goes both ways for Cal in terms of his fighting style is that he gets the crap kicked out of him like when it comes to physical, when it comes to it getting physical, but he can dish it out himself.
Oh yeah, that guy's tough as nails. Especially since Fallen Order. This game, he can clearly take a lot more.
Yeah, he can take a punch, but he can also give a punch back physically, which is really nice to see. So, and the fact that there's that moment where he pushes Dagan back and he's, I'm not your enemy. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But not really at this moment, because Dagan brought this upon. You might not think you're his enemy, but in Dagan's eyes, you're his enemy. It's just, I like that sort of, there's that little Jedi-ness in Cal, that Jedi sort of sense of, man, we can get over this. Let's get back to the light here. Let's start chilling out and teaming up. That's just something I like about Cal. And I know that's within every Jedi and not just Cal, but it's just something I like that's highlighted with him. But Dagan's like, nah, I'm gonna go with the guy that I bested in combat and has sworn an oath of honor to me for over 200 years.
Yeah, that's dedication, by the way.
Yeah,
that's fucking dedication.
Yeah.
What a stand-up guy Ravis is. Even if he's a heartless killer.
I'll say it, and I'll keep saying it. Ravis is my favorite new character introduced in Survivor. He's so fucking cool.
I will say, when he dies, At the point of which she dies, I would say I would agree with you.
Yeah.
And then
I love his whole character, dude.
And then everything goes downhill, and then Bode starts to rapidly overtake him for me. But
that's fair. Yeah. No, I can't. Bode, listen, I love Noshir Dalal. If he's somehow listening to this, that's awesome. Love what you did with Bode. The character itself, can't forgive him, man. Can't. No.
Look, I created when I was talking to Jacob for the first time about this the Pod Save America parody, Bode Akuna of #fuck Bode Akuna fame, because fuck that guy and what he did, unforgivable. But it's such a rich and complex character that, however much I hate him on a human, I have to admire the writing on a character level.
Yeah.
Just because of how expertly that twist was written.
No, it was great. I still hate him.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Just goddamn it. Why'd you have to kill someone? That's the thing. If they didn't, again, yes, there needs to be consequences and everything. And I get that probably Sears' time was up. What the hell? That's all I got. Let's move on. Please.
Yeah.
I don't want to dwell on Sear anymore.
No, we won't do that. Let's get to Jedi.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, screw you, Eli. Let's not talk about Sear anymore. Next bit. We'll go to Jedi.
This is only mentions of Sear. We don't actually get to Sear in this part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jedi looks really good in this game. I'm just gonna say this. Jedi looks fantastic in this game. Surprising no one, I actually like Jedi's depiction in this game more than I like it in Rogue One.
Yeah, that's not surprising to me.
It's really
not surprising. It's too vast for the gameplay. Here's my thing with Jedi. Gameplay wise, Jedi is probably the one thing I don't like in this game. It's only because of it's so fucking vast.
I understand that.
Truly, like the thing with Kobo is really nice because all the environment changes for the most part, in each section you go to. So there's variation and it feels like you're discovering something new every time. With Jedi, it's just desert, maybe some other, what's the word? Structure, and then more desert. And
I understand.
I
understand that.
So
I will say that inside the structures though is really interesting stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it's like desert.
The idea of Jedi as this mecca for the Force is, I think, a really interesting idea and something I know that Star Wars canon has pursued more.
Yep.
But I'd like them to pursue even more. But I know in Phase 2, of course, there's the Convocation in the High Republic.
Yep, Battle of Jeddah, which I still haven't read.
Yeah. I've heard it's fantastic.
I've heard it's fantastic too, and I'm like, I'm gonna read it. I never have.
It's
I'm so behind.
What a great lore! What a great planet that's been built up so expertly since it got introduced into canon just 8 years ago.
Yep. Insane.
It's incredible. The sandworms that chase you around on Jeddah at the beginning are fucking annoying.
The Scritons, I hate them.
I'm not talking about the Scritons. The Scritons are annoying too.
Yeah, I'm like, no, but I always just felt like they were I'm like 99% sure they were. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Oh, they were? I'm not sure. But anyway, no, Scritons are fucking annoying. Yeah. Also, the golden Scritons are even more annoying.
Yep.
And frankly, they shouldn't be like the golden Scritons. That's ridiculous. Yep. But I think we're both clamoring to talk about the one final plot point of this segment. God bless Tina Ivlov, and God bless Merrin.
Yep.
I love her character so much. She's so great.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that they reintroduced her as soon as they did in this game, even before Seer. If I'm being completely honest, I like her more as a character than I like Cal. And that's not an insult to Cal.
That's
but
fair,
like,
yeah.
just so incredibly based all the time.
Yep.
She spent the last few years traveling the galaxy and making space fascists scared. Hell yeah.
Sounds pretty based.
Pretty damn based. Yeah, it's she and she just goes into a straight up. I love that Cal is struggling with this deep interpersonal journey about like, how do I fight as a Jedi and all that kind of stuff, and like, where is the galaxy in the state of war and stuff like that. And Merrin's, now I got this all figured out.
Yeah. The Merrin's reintroduction in Survivor, it's not one of those moments that, like, if I were to think of a top moment, it would be up there for me off the top of my head. But like when I watch it happen, it's like, fuck yeah. So that's how I would describe that moment for me.
No, it's a fantastic moment. And yeah, and just seeing them fight together again, that line, I have missed fighting at your side. Like, I will admit, before Survivor released, I was a big I was a big Cal Trilla guy.
Yep.
They sell me on Cal. They sell me on Cal Merrin in this game.
I mean, it's not hard to sell you on it, considering what happens like an hour after or whatever.
No, they sell me on the idea of it.
No, I know what you mean, but still, it's not hard.
Yeah. No, it isn't. But they could have done it. They could have done it in a a more unprecedented way, but they really build up to it in a really great way here and make it believable.
Yep.
Which is great. It's not hard to make it believable because she's Merrin, but whatever. Yeah, she's great. Them taking out, as Cal calls them, imps together. I'm trying to think. Can you think of any other character who calls them imps in Star Wars? I know that was a Legends thing, but in canon,
I'm pretty sure there's probably characters that call them imps. I just can't think of any off the top of my head at this current moment. I really can't. But I'm 99. Yeah. I feel like I'm like 99% sure somebody in Rebels called them imps, at the very least.
I think apparently, I just looked it up. Apparently, they're called imps in the Mandalorians. Maybe.
Interesting.
Which sounds like something Din would say. Come on, kid, let's take on the imps. Yeah, that sounds like a very Din line. Maybe Bo said it. Maybe, honestly, sounds like something Cara Dune would say, actually. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, and we end by Merrin showing Cal how much better she is than him, which based. Connor, do you have anything else you want to talk about this specific segment?
No. Yeah, no, really nothing that pops up about it off the top of my head. There's really not much else I can add. Just a really solid sequence in the story.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. Yeah.
This is a great sequence, especially like I have my issues with Dagan, but putting Merrin in the forest array, there's some really great stuff there. The daring and wondrous adventures on Kobo and Jeddah are fantastic. All that stuff. Again, we're building the foundation of this game. And then in parts 4 and 5, we'll get to that end of the first act. And then, of course, we'll jump into better storytelling, maybe wise, but darker tone-wise parts of the story that I think are fantastic. That's going to be it for this episode of Star Wars in a Galaxy. Connor, can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at DepaBanana. You can find me on Instagram at CommentJFO. I also podcast over at the Nerd Academy podcast, specifically our Star Wars show, Knights of the Nerd Republic. You can find that on our website, www.nerdacademypodcast.com. You can find us on our socials there, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just type in TNAP or Nerd Academy Podcast. You'll find us on Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Same thing over with the For the Republic podcast. You can follow us at For the Repub Pod on our socials. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Yeah, that's really about it. Oh, duh. Star Wars in a Galaxy Epic Confrontations over on this channel that you're watching legitimately right now.
Assuming I post this to YouTube soon, which honestly, to be completely honest with you, I'm not the best at that.
So,
but on the YouTube channel of this show, yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. You can find all current and past matches for Star Wars for Epic Confrontations over at the Star Wars in a Galaxy YouTube channel. The YouTube channel that I'm currently on at this moment.
Sometime probably a few months from now.
I'm just saying.
Let's be honest. I'm just describing the reality of the situation.
I'm aware of that. I'm still just saying. This is for future. This is for the future. All the past matches you can find there. You can follow us over at In a Galaxy Trivia on Twitter. And then you can find me over at sweditorig.com. The site is discontinued. It will be up again at some point. I help write Star Wars fan fiction with some really cool people. I have some stories in the works, pretty much all of which are centered around like one or two characters, some of which y'all can guess pretty easily, considering the episode that I'm on right now. So,
absolutely. Next week on Star Wars in a Galaxy 140, we'll be going from 2 hours and 15. No, wait, no. Yeah, 2 hours and 15 minutes to 3 hour, the 3 hour mark of Jedi Survivor. We're almost to the halfway point of this game. Jacob will be back for this next episode. He couldn't make this one, so Connor graciously agreed to fill in as the guest co-host for this episode. So I appreciate that very much, sir. You can find all of our stuff, listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, we will be there. Follow us at In a Galaxy Pod everywhere on Twitter and Instagram and all the social medias. Follow me at OchiFan327 on Twitter, or alternately, go to my link linktr.ee/_OchiFan327. I just set up one for you to follow all the Epic Confrontation stuff, linktr.ee/inagalaxytrivia. So you can go find that. Connor's stuff is on there. My stuff is on there. All of our other writers' stuff is on there. Great stuff from a bunch of wonderful people who are helping me push this league into the future. And I think there's nothing else. May the Force be with you always.